What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Today we're back with more comments, but first we gotta crown the dumbass from last week. So, last week's winner was... these dumbasses right here! Yeah, it's actually a 2 for this week, because they got equal number of votes. So, yes, you that thinks that the world has been destroyed 3 times already, and we know about it. And then, of course, the idiot that said that atheists just don't want evidence for God. Both of you people are dumbasses for separate reasons. Remember to make your vote count and hit that straw poll down in the description or that first comment. If you picked these dumbasses last week, then you win 1,000,000 God points. Remember, these God points are worth about as much as expecting the religious right to condemn Trump's racism when really they're just mad that he cursed God. Speaking of dipshits, aw, somebody unsubscribe. This one guy doesn't know how bathrooms work. Another person comes at me with some really bad logic. Oh no, another unsubscription. What am I ever to do? And a guy just lists off a whole bunch of reasons as to why the Earth's flat. None of them are good. And apparently I'm a judgmental fuck. So, if you heathens are interested in this dumb shit, then please stay tuned. We'll get into the comments in a minute. But first we have... Today I learned. First up on Today I Learned that actor Kirk Douglas once tried to commit suicide after a stroke by shooting himself in the mouth. However, the gun hit his tooth and it hurt so much that he stopped completely. He was then so amused that that toothache had stopped him from killing himself that he decided to live. Hey, whatever gets you to not do that, I fully support it. Don't use a permanent solution for temporary problems. And next on Today I learned that in the film Osmosis Jones, Bill Murray's character mentions a National Chicken Wing Festival in Buffalo, New York. While the festival did not exist during the filming of the movie, this mention caused organizers to create an annual festival in Buffalo, which has now been active for 16 years. Look at that! Movies causing all of that growth right there. I mean, it's a whole festival. You think that it doesn't like promote like good business and everything like that in that area for people to come in, fry up them wings, eat them wings and everything like that? Come on, that's gotta be good business. Also, I love chicken wings. And then finally on Today I learned that the climate change is already affecting global food production. Half of all food insecure countries are experiencing decreases in crop production, and so are some affluent industrialized countries in Western Europe. Oh, so you mean climate change doesn't just mean that, oh, it's not gonna snow outside, or just because it does snow outside and you can form a snowball, that doesn't mean climate change isn't real, because climate change affects a whole lot of other shit. You know why there's so many flesh-eating bacteria shit going on down like in the Gulf of Mexico, like around Florida and everything like that? Because the water's a lot warmer. You know why it's a lot warmer? Because of fucking climate change. Because the global temperature's going up. Fuck us! And now we have Out of Context Comics. If you enjoy Out of Context Comics and want to contribute your own, then please hit me up on Twitter at Godless Engineer and give me your best Out of Context comics. Today's Out of Context comic comes from the Fantastic Four, where apparently Reed Richards wants Susan Storm to do it harder. That's it! Now harder! Harder! I don't know what she's supposed to be doing harder right there, but I mean, she's looking down and I don't know what she's doing harder. It seems very sexual, but I doubt that it actually is. Y'all know what time it is now, right? Shitty ass science! We're gonna answer some science shit really wrong. Oh, how you guys doing? Y'all ready for some shitty ass science? If God didn't exist, how do atheists explain that airplanes can fly successfully for hours without falling down, despite their density being much higher than the air? Who protects the lives of people on airplanes? You know, this is a good fucking question, because as we all know, God is what keeps planes flying in the air. Yep, God flies up underneath them motherfuckers right under there, kind of like Superman. Did you guys know that Superman is basically like Jesus, but with laser vision and a cape? Anyways, God flies up underneath every single one of those planes. Or, depending on how he feels that day, he'll just put his hand out there and he'll make it fly. Now, I know what you're saying. God probably only has 2 hands because we always depict him as a human. But that's bullshit, because we all know that he's a lot like an octopus type thing, except he can generate as many hands as he wants to. So every time an aircraft takes off, it's just God's hand right there underneath the belly making it go. That's the only explanation for it. Can't give me any other kind of explanation for it, because we all know that it's God. Also, it takes a multitude of people on the planes praying in order for the plane to take off in the first place. In case you guys did not know, the engines of planes do rely on prayer as the main fuel source. Basically, you've got a harem of bitches in the back that will keep on praying to God throughout the entire fucking flight. This continuously gives the airplanes fuel. Now, I know what you're asking. What about airplane crashes and shit? Obviously, that's when the harem of bitches stops praying during the flight. Maybe one of them sneezes and they lose power for a bit, and that's turbulence. Turbulence is what happens when the praying bitches fall asleep for a second or they sneeze. Okay? That's what happens. Now, you're also probably asking, well, what about all these disappearing planes? Okay, listen, sometimes the devil takes over. God has a lot of planes to fly in the air, and sometimes the devil gets them and throws them into the Bermuda Triangle, and then they just disappear off this dimension. Okay? Luckily, though, we had Jim Parsons way back when to do the seances at Area 51 in order to get that portal opened up so we could get the planes back. But ever since then, we've not been able to do that. Also, Jim Parsons didn't like that one bitch that flew across the British Ocean or something like that. I don't fucking know her name. She disappeared. I don't know. Could you help me out in the comments there? I know one of you fuckers know out there. Anyways, he didn't like her, so she went out the window. She wasn't brought back from the other dimension. But anyways, back to the planes and flying and shit. Basically, if you stop sucking Jesus's dick while you're on the flight, the plane will crash. So anytime that you're on a plane, definitely keep on sucking that Jesus dick, or at least make sure the harem of bitches doesn't fall asleep or sneeze, or otherwise you'll crash. And this is the only way that planes can fly. I don't want to hear shit about it. You understand me? Now go on. That's your lesson for the day. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. What happened? Don't listen to that guy. Praying is what keeps planes flying? What the fuck? Also, what the fuck is this question? Obviously, these people don't know about lift and how that's created and how the momentum of the plane is what, makes it get into the air along with the lift and all the physics that go into it. I mean, we have science to explain these things. Not that kind of bullshit. Why do you even have to ask these questions? And finally, we get to comments of the day. Prepare to face bump yourself in the next week. Alright, what do we got? First up, and unsubscribe. Oh fuck, what was it? The ukulele? Is it the voice? I mean, I don't give a fuck as to why you unsubscribed. I also don't care that you felt like you should announce that you're unsubscribing. But hell, give me some kind of indication as to what to put, as for the notch on my belt. What is that for? It's like another unsubscription. Well, fuck, let me just put you down in my shit list. Motherfucker Zoidberg. I appreciate everybody that subscribes and watches my channel. I do, but I also don't care if you feel like unsubscribing because you either have found out that you don't like my voice, don't like the ukulele playing, don't think that I have good points against creationists or flat earth bullshit. It doesn't really matter what you think. You wanted to unsubscribe, and apparently nothing I can do can make you reconsider it. But also, I would drive myself crazy if I tried to appease every single motherfucker out there. Amazing that so-called science truthers had YouTube remove such channels as Red Pill Philosophy and many others that tried to prove the flat earth. Actually, Red Pill Philosophy still has a channel. I don't think that he can be monetized, but, he still has a channel. If the flat earth is so ludicrous and so not worthy of even debate, how did the flat earth video streams threaten their global paradigm? Why destroy any counter to the unproven globe earth? Because the facts is, NASA doesn't prove the globe earth in any way. Well, no, I wouldn't say that's NASA's job. NASA's job is, it's the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So, like, they aren't tasked with proving that the globe exists or is a fact. They already have that knowledge. So I don't know what you're trying to say with this, other than the fact that you think that NASA is the one that controls the globe paradigm, when the globe paradigm has been that way for a very long time, like thousands of years. It's been that way. The flat earth model hasn't been believed since, but well before the AD/BC split. So I don't know why you think all of a sudden NASA is the one controlling this shit. And I do think that the flat earth discussion is worth having. Debate, there's not really a debate. It's more like the flat earthers are presenting their side of the argument, and their side of the argument is not good enough to stand up to scrutiny. So it more or less becomes just a discussion about how they're wrong and explaining why they're wrong, rather than an actual debate. Hate Trump all you want, but I guarantee things would be much worse if the murderous bitch of the West had won. Well, I don't really know how you can know that for certain, because it seems like you know that. Like, you guarantee it that things would be much worse. But I don't know. I feel like things might have been worse, compared to Obama, maybe? I mean, I really don't know, because we really didn't get to see a lot of what Hillary Clinton would do, like as far as in office and shit. But I can guarantee you it wouldn't be as bad as what fucking Trump has done. Trump has done some bad shit. I get that a lot of people think our economy is great right now, but it's not. Trump's tariffs have only been bad news for us. Any of Trump's actions have put us on the bad side of our actual allies, while Trump is sucking all of this dictator dick all over the place. So, no, I don't think things would be worse under Hillary. But I also wish there was a different choice than Hillary. Godless engineer, I don't know enough about this whole subject. Which, for context, the whole subject is the transgender, bathroom issue. But I simply do not want my 10-year-old daughter sitting on a public toilet right next to anyone with a penis, no matter how they identify themselves. Okay, so here's my point with it shooting yourself in the foot. This particular person also said that they think that you should use the bathroom that match your genitals. But the problem is that transgendered people generally look like the gender they identify as. So they would look like they would use the appropriate bathroom. But what he's saying right here is that he wants a transgendered woman to use a men's bathroom, because he doesn't recognize a transgender woman as a woman, because she may or may not still have a penis. It doesn't really matter if she has a penis. She identifies as a woman. She should use the woman's bathroom. Just like with transgendered men. Transgendered men should use the men's bathroom because they are men. It doesn't matter if they have a vagina or not. They are men. They identify as men. They look like men. They present themselves as men. They should use the men's bathroom. But this dumbass right here wants to force the exact situation that he does not want. He does not want somebody sitting next to his daughter on the toilet with a penis, which I have to ask, exactly how do you use public restrooms? Do you think there just are not stalls there? I mean, it would be bad design to just have open shitters all over the place, right? And you just sit down and you shit next to the person that you're shitting next to, and then you lock eyes, and it's like, don't lock eyes with me, I'm taking a shit, don't look at me, god damn. I don't know how you use a restroom, but apparently you just use the shitters that are out in the open that apparently exists wherever the fuck you go. But regardless of that, he wants to force the situation of a transgendered man sitting in the stall next to his daughter just because that guy has a vagina. That's it. But he would totally shit a brick if he saw that transgendered man walking into a bathroom. As far as the whole gender split bathrooms thing, why can't it be that you identify as a woman, you present yourself as a woman, you go to the bathroom as a woman? That seems like the easiest and most logical solution to the situation. They always want to put it out there that, oh, well, a guy can just up and decide he wants to be a woman and go to the woman's bathroom, and that would be allowed under this whole thing. And it's like, I don't know. It seems to me like there's nothing stopping that person from going into the woman's bathroom and, looking at women on the toilet or anything like that. That shit happens constantly now. So I don't understand why you would think that just because this law got passed, men would just now be like, oh, well, I'm a woman too. I'm going to go in there and peek on women while they're taking a shit or a piss. And it's like, that stuff's already illegal. Like, you can't just go into a bathroom and start peeping in on people. That would cause problems, regardless of your gender. So I don't understand your particular position on this. This guy is a well-programmed idiot, and his shit videos reveal nothing but the crap he learned in school. What a moron. Now, you see, this comment's unique, because at the very beginning you would think, oh shit, he's talking about Eric DeBay. Yeah, he is well-programmed by whatever the fuck kind of thing he reads all the time. Oh yeah, it's just all this crap that he learned from school. And then you know that he's talking about me because I parrot, which just means recite the facts about, how the earth isn't flat and it's actually a globe. So, and he calls me a moron because I'm reciting facts. Just let that sink in. Anytime somebody calls you a moron for citing scientific facts, it should clue you into whether or not you should really consider what they think. I believe in no God exist. Therefore, I do as the Bible scriptures instruct me to do in regards of spreading the gospel. Good news. My confused thoughts are, if atheists don't believe in God, why are they always talking about God? Atheist evolutionists don't believe in God, but they seem to want others to know their disbelief in God. Is there some kind of atheist scriptures that instructs them to spread the atheist evolutionist mindset? Well, no, what you're talking about here are activists. Atheists and evolution activists that want to spread the good information and fight against bad information. And I get that your particular holy book tells you to go out and spread the gospel or good news, but that's totally different from like atheist or evolutionary activism, because you're looking to spread a theological message regardless of actual reality, whereas the activists want to promote good science, good information, and want to teach people things. Those are two very different things, mainly because one's based in reality, yours is based in bullshit. And so no, there's no scriptures or anything like that. That's just activism. Learn to tell the difference. This YouTuber is a moron. I was called moron twice by two different people? Is this a new record? I don't think so. I'm fairly certain I put out videos where everybody's called me a moron in the comments. Like everybody of this caliber. Not talking about the good heathens out there. Talking about dipshits like this. Considering that more and more of your videos are about religious topics, I guess it's time to unsubscribe. That's how much I'm not interested in religion. Oh, okay. That's fine. Totally fine with you unsubscribing because you're not interested in the anti-religious topic. Anybody out there that doesn't like it, you can either not watch or unsubscribe. That's what I say all the time. I feel, though, that to act like the conversation is just pointless to have or anything like that is really disingenuous, because it's obviously very important to people, and so I think it's a very worthwhile conversation to have. But you don't like that, that's fine. I'm happy to have had you here while you were here. For me, yes, you are irritating in just about every way. No doubt you have an appeal with young adults. I definitely will not share your content. Years from now, when you look back at your content, you will probably delete it. No, I don't think so. I mean, you guys don't know this, but I do have a pretty big atheist tattoo. Like, across my back, it just says atheist on it in a very stylized way. So, I don't see myself changing my opinion. Not saying that it won't ever change my opinion, but I also probably will never delete these videos. I mean, honestly, if I ever stop doing YouTube, I'll probably just leave them up. Ferocious favorite. United Nations symbol is a flat earth. Planes calibrate their gyroscopes to the airport they're departing from. Their attitude gauge always indicate flat, except when ascending and descending. Ships and missiles navigate based on FE. If you still believe in anything your government and the news tells you, look up Operation Northwoods. 9/11 was fake. Same with Sandy Hook shooting, Las Vegas shooting, London attack. All of that shit's just fake as fuck because I wasn't a part of it. And even if I was a part of it, I would doubt my own personal experience because I know that it's the CIA, NWO, Illuminati elite that are trying to make me think that attacks are going on when really they're just trying to control my mind all the time, programming and shit on TV and stuff like that. Okay, so to start from the top going down, regardless of what symbol the United Nations use, that doesn't indicate whether or not the earth is flat. I don't know why they latch on to these appeals to authority here, but they do. I still don't know why. The whole planes thing, I mean, those are never good arguments, just like these right here are very poor arguments. There are perfectly fine explanations for why planes calibrate their gyroscopes to wherever they are and the attitude gauge and everything like that. That's not indicative of a flat earth. It's just because they're just concerned with their local sort of situation. They're not exactly concerned at that point with like the globe necessarily. Flight paths, though, flight paths are planned with a globe in mind. But as far as like calibrating instruments and everything like that, you don't have to take a globe earth in mind when you're doing that shit. It's just all local right there to you, which locally would feel flat and seem flat. He brings up Operation Northwoods, which I didn't know this before this particular comment, but Operation Northwoods was a proposed like false flag operation where terrorist acts would be committed against American people. But see, the thing is that it's only proposed, it was never green lit. So while sure, people may have thought about it and proposed such action in the past, that does not mean that they have actually done it. And this is where the conspiracy theorists latch onto one nugget of truth and then they extrapolate it out into a larger conspiracy that they propose to you. And the proposal here is that, oh, the government proposed it once and then they started acting on it all throughout history, I guess. And just because this one proposal exists, that validates them thinking that everything's a false flag operation. And simply, they're not. They're not false flag operations. Don't you even try. You were about literally shredded in the debate you had with IP. Now, granted, I don't think anybody does perfectly in a debate, but I also don't think that I got shredded by IP in my debate with him. For one thing, he really latched on to like Tacitus and shit, and I even admitted that regardless of whether or not I think that it was interpolated, that we, under the assumption that it was genuinely there, it still only solidifies Christians being in Rome at the time. In case you guys don't know, I'll probably have a list somewhere with me explaining the Tacitus source for Jesus. But this is not just my opinion or Richard Carrier's opinion or anybody else's like fringe idea. This comes from Robert Van Voorst. Like Van Voorst supports the idea that Tacitus is not proof of a historical Jesus. And he's a Christian. He's got a book out there, peer-reviewed, and everything like that. Matches everything that these people would want. But because it doesn't match their preconceived notions about what the Tacitus source proves, that means that it's wrong. So I think it's funny that whenever it comes from me or somebody like Rick Carrier, they say that it's crazy and fringe. But when other scholars point it out, they seem to be perfectly fine with it. Like, as long as it doesn't come from me or Rick Carrier. Do you know how to mind your own business? You have nothing better to do, so you make fun of people's videos. Really pathetic, you fucking degenerate. Look, the video was hilarious. I mean, he had so much sexual innuendo in it that it was hard not to notice. Like, really hard. That's what she said. But no, I do have a lot better things to do with my time. In fact, right now, I'm taking a hiatus from my Monday live streams so that I can work on applications that I want to build for the iOS and Android platforms. The app that I've got going right now, which I actually inherited from another developer, is the Crestus app, which you may have seen in the end cards, which if you want to help this channel out, you can check out the Crestus app, download it, and find out more about why Jesus probably wasn't historical. This show would be good if you not be so judgmental, but wise in your approach to the weak-minded. Guide them instead of bashing them. You only creating evil to rise up. Don't cloud your minds with a black cloud. Okay, I feel like you could have said that a little bit better. But also, yeah, while I was being judgmental and I was sort of putting on a show, if I was actually talking to Morgan, I would not have acted in the same way. I mean, honestly, these videos are meant for entertainment. I'm trying to make them entertaining. I also don't think that, like, Morgan is necessarily weak-minded. And I think that that's rather shitty of you to assume that. Regardless of whether or not you want to consider him to be weak-minded, I would rather give somebody the benefit of the doubt of being indoctrinated. And just because you're indoctrinated doesn't mean that you're weak-minded. When I was indoctrinated, I wasn't weak-minded. It just took a little bit for me to see the reality of the situation, to see the reality that the Bible's bullshit. And I really don't think that he's weak-minded. I just think that he's heavily indoctrinated. Just because you say creation described in the Bible is myth doesn't mean it is. Okay. Well, in that very video, I mentioned how archaeology doesn't actually support any of the Old Testament, how all of the conquering and everything in Joshua is actually disproved by archaeology, physical and observable evidence that it is bullshit. Also, the fact that we don't have any evidence for Abraham, Noah, Moses, or any of them fucks. We don't have any evidence that suggests that they were actually there and that the Israelite people were actually born out of a completely separate situation. So I give good reasons as to why they're myths. I don't just say that they're myths. I give really good reasons that are verifiable, observable, and testable that you can go out and you can find out for yourself whether or not they're bullshit. After all, what is your science? That fucking word spelled that way. Science. I guess really he just missed the C. It just looks weird, doesn't it? About the origin of the universe from nothing? That is the biggest myths, right? Thanks. No, I would say the biggest myth is some amorphous god deity thing magically creating something out of literally nothing. Not just something, but the entire fucking universe. He did so using magic. He spoke that shit into existence. Then he sneezed on dirt, formed Adam out of fucking clay, and then ripped out one of his rib bones and made a woman. That isn't myth? That isn't magical? Any natural explanation is going to trump that shit. And finally, we have Casper the Fake saying, "Hey, Godless Engineer, you suck, dude." Thanks for that motivational talk there, Casper. You're really making me feel good about myself. But seriously, I don't really give a fuck if you think that I suck or not. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. You obviously suck Kent Hovind dick or other people's dick that you agree with. So I'm not really gonna take your criticism here. It's really just an insult. It's not really a criticism. I'm not going to take your insult to heart here, because I don't give a fuck what you think. Thank you, heathens, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you will, please go down below and vote for this week's dumbass. While you're down there, be sure to leave a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, share it on your social media. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.